if we're gonna compare right now, like Khabib and Islam, of course, like Khabib is here, Islam is here, and like, but like we never know, you know. Islam, he still fights, and like he could beat all records, but like I don't let him do that, so I'm here. That's why.
I think stylistically, Islam, he's another version of Khabib with actually better striking, in my opinion. Great top control, just like Khabib. Obviously, he learns from Khabib, and I think that's what makes a guy like Islam very, very dangerous.
There is always gonna be some challengers, contenders. This sport is growing very fast, you know. There is a lot of new young guys coming, you know, and yeah, it's always gonna be good opponents for Islam. But Islam is now not only champion, he is pound for pound best fighter in the world right now, today. And yeah, UFC offer us fight already in January. We accept. Now UFC gonna announce where and who's gonna fight with him very soon.
The difference between them two is like Khabib wants to drown you, and he wants you to like mentally break. Islam like has a heart a little bit. Like he'll tap you out. He'll be like, all right, you know what? Your arm's there dangling. Let me get you in a Kimura. Like Khabib, he sees your arm dangling. Nah, I'm gonna mount you right now. I want you to mentally break. So that's the difference between them two. It's crazy.
I'm sure Islam doesn't want to hear people like us talking about, you know, can he overtake the legacy of Khabib? And I don't think he will, because Khabib was the first. He represented Dagestan to the highest. He's known as the GOAT, the greatest lightweight of all time. Some people have him as the actual GOAT. But I think when you look at the resume, and listen, and this is more credit, I think, to Khabib as well. And of course, Abdulmanap, Khabib's late father, that they're creating fighters of this caliber. Because, yeah, I think it's fair to say Islam's doing things and winning fights in ways that Khabib didn't. He was 29-0. He beat some really, really good competition along the way. But if Islam carries on like this, soon we might be talking about him as the GOAT.
Khabib didn't have as much success against top level jiu-jitsu guys in training, but he still would grind on them and work them. And Islam, I had seen put them in jeopardy over and over and over again. Top level guys.
The people that know, the people that train with him, they know how good he is. And I've said it, I don't know how many times, that in all the sparrings that I've had here with Khabib, that no one's ever beaten any rounds from him, you know, except one person, and that's Islam Makhachev. He's the only one that's been able to win rounds against Khabib. Nobody in the history of AKA that's within the weight that sparred Khabib has ever won a round against him except Islam Makhachev. So that being the reason, that's my crystal ball. It's like right. There's no other secret thing I can say other than I see with my own eyes Coach. How good this guy is.
Islam has proven to be one of the best strikers in the world, which is something that that's the one thing he has that Khabib never did. And maybe it wasn't maybe Khabib did. It's not. I'm not saying Khabib didn't have the ability. It's just it wasn't his style. He didn't have the desire to stand in front of someone for long periods of time because he didn't have to. A couple more title defenses, I think. I don't think we have a choice. I think we have to say that he is the greatest lightweight of all time.
Islam had this confidence and belief about himself that you just weren't going to take him down. It didn't matter who was wrestling with him. It didn't matter if it was me, if it was Kane, if it was Luke Rockhold, if it was Khabib. He just thought that he wasn't going to get taken down by it. It didn't matter that you were the more credentialed guy or the better guy. He had this belief that you couldn't take him down. This dude has one of the most difficult legs. He always said that, and I'll make a YouTube short about this where he goes, take this leg. This leg cannot be scored on. It's his right leg. He keeps it in front. He fights southpaw. It's so hard to take him down when you get to the single. Defensively, he's as hard as anyone to take down.
But we have been told for years, Kenny, that this was the star pupil of Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, his favorite student, the guy for whom he would put chips in the center of the table every day of the week, the guy that was better than Khabib Nurmagomedov, whose game was maybe even more nuanced, better striker. We've heard it all for years, would be favored against any lightweight in the world.
looks like he's more willing to stay in, and Khabib got out. You know, Khabib's going to be a great coach, and this guy, and Khabib had a great career as a fighter, but this guy right here should surpass, you know. A couple title defenses, and then, like I said, jump up a weight class. He's going to fight the guy that's down a weight class at his weight class, which should be an automatic win. Then he goes and defends the belt two more times after that. He's hitting that 3 that most people don't do. And then he goes up and challenges whoever's at the 170 for the belt. It's like, yeah, chance for pound for sure. Solidify that.
I think it was the second UFC appearance that Islam Makhachev was knocked out by Adriano Martins. And the guy hasn't lost since. And his next title defense is going to give him as many as Khabib. I think BJ Penn is a guy who many regard as the greatest lightweight of all time still, if Khabib is not your guy. But Islam Makhachev is well on his way, and he has championship medal. He has a mean streak if he needs it. He has cardio. He's the total package. If I could put it any clearer today, I would.
I've seen Islam dominate top level jiu-jitsu guys from the mount position, from side control, takedowns, foot sweeps, all of these things. And these guys were mainly bigger than him when Islam was training with them. So when you have guys that are bigger than you, that are top level jiu-jitsu players, and you're still able to work them around, move them around, sweep them, and put them in danger, make them escape.
You compare him and Khabib. I mean, Khabib's in a league of his own. I think that what makes Khabib so special was like his ferocity. Like he was just ferocious in there. Like it was almost like there was almost a sense of like controlled chaos. It was like almost reckless, but you could tell that this guy is like not reckless in a sense where he's going to fall into danger. He's just like a bowling ball of destruction, where you got a guy in Islam that just seems so much more polished. I mean, Islam doesn't fight with reckless abandonment. He's very measured. He's very good at the fundamentals. Like if you see the way he uses his stand-up, very fundamental striking, nothing super flashy. He doesn't come barreling down the center line like Khabib. I mean, that's what made Khabib was just the way he fought. It's just ferocious. Islam is just much more measured. He seems a little more calculated. And he's already said that he wants to have a really long title reign.
And I'll leave you with one other thing, which is MMA math. We're going to sit around and argue who's better. And it's to the point that you're weighing in on this. It's to the point that Coach Javier Mendez is weighing in on this. Who's better between King Khabib and the new champ Islam? And getting common opponents like Poirier in there with them is a great way to extend that argument.
I think stylistically they're definitely not the same. Both great fighters. Just stylistically they don't do the same things. You'll see Khabib shoot like 5 to 7 times in a round just to make sure somebody gets tired, while Islam will be so accurate with his feints and striking, and then we'll get that one shot, and that one shot will put you, and then he'll be able to hold you. So they're not that similar, in my opinion. They have similar techniques and they have similar goals, but the route they take is not similar. So I guess you could say they're similar in that they want to do the same thing, but they don't take the same route.
Is he starting to maybe come out of the shadow of Khabib Nurmagomedov? That's not throwing any kind of insult towards Khabib. Khabib did it primarily on the ground. Relentless wrestling, incredibly tough ground and pound, and ridiculously strong submissions. Islam now is showing that he's the complete threat. He can get it done in the wrestling department. He can snatch up a submission on the ground. And he can turn your lights off with a head kick as well. As I said, the man is a complete threat.
Dude, Islam is really quickly just overtaking, in my opinion, the legacy of Khabib Nurmagomedov, because this guy is doing things like beating Volkanovski twice. Now, with that head kick, I really couldn't believe that's how it went down.
Khabib's always going to be that special guy because he's 29-0 undefeated. That's going to be hard to beat because there's always going to be that one blemish that people will look back with Islam. But I agree with you. He has a broader set of skills. Like Islam can take you down and submit you, but he just showed he can strike, he can throw kicks, he can punch.